Roy Baxter wasn't always the man he is now. He used to live for work, driven by a desire to solve the most intricate cases. His detective father and his mother, convinced of justice, encouraged him to follow this path. But one day, while investigating a murder, he encountered something that changed his view of the world forever. Too many coincidences, too many shadows, as if someone or something was deliberately leading him by the hand to the wrong conclusions. And now, years later, Baxter had become a shadow of himself, a private investigator who had lost the respect of his colleagues, his friends, and worst of all, his passion for his work. His last chance for salvation came unexpectedly, a case from a closed elite club that didn't open its doors to just anyone. A member of their society, an important figure, was missing. Rumor had it something dark was going on there, and Roy was drawn to it like a magnet. If he'd known what he was getting into, he never would have taken the job. From the first step, as soon as he entered their gloomy mansion, he sensed something. It was as if the walls here were absorbing other people's lives, saturated with them. The floors, creaking with every step he took, seemed alive, as if they hid something more. But that didn't stop him. Roy was sure he could find the answers. It was cold and damp inside. The room he found himself in was like a museum of long-forgotten artifacts. There were ancient things everywhere, their true purposes drowned in the mists of time. But that was unimportant. What was important was the table standing in the center. On it was a map. Not an ordinary one, but an ancient one, with symbols that immediately began to bane away the pain in his eyes. The feeling that he had seen these symbols somewhere before kept him on his toes. The symbols. It's bloody weird. I've seen it before. Where? I can't remember. What the hell am I even doing here? Trying to save my own skin or looking for answers to questions I don't want to know? He realized this place was like a trap prepared especially for him. They knew he was coming. Every move was their design. He wasn't the first one here. And he certainly wasn't the first to try to get out. But then he didn't know who was behind it. This club was run by people who couldn't be called human. They manipulated not only the lives of their members, but time, memory, reality itself. These creatures had always remained in the shadows, but now their eyes were fixed on him. He was another victim, another toy in their hands. But Roy didn't give up so easily. They are watching me. There isn't a living soul here, but I can feel them. It's like they're sitting right inside my head. Damn it, that's what they wanted. They're watching me through these symbols, the map. This is their world, their goddamn game. It soon became clear that the disappearance was not just an accident. It was connected to ancient rituals. The club members seemed to worship something unknown, ancient and hungry. Baxter found books in a strange language, scrolls that couldn't possibly belong to this time. Rituals, sacrifices, all for power and wealth. How could anyone stoop so low for what? Damn it, for what? Voice barely audible, but cold, sobering. You know too much. You're not just an investigator anymore. You're a victim. Footsteps outside the door. Roy froze. Someone was approaching, and he knew it wasn't a person. What came after him was ancient and terrifying. They had been waiting for this moment. A woman entered the room. The one he'd seen in old photographs. By all accounts, she had died decades ago, but her cold gaze was now directed at him. Woman without emotion, you've come too far. Roy, you're part of this world now. Part of the world. Your dead world. I was a fool to come here. You're just another ghost in a chain of lies. Woman calmly, like a soothsayer, lies are illusions. You've been a pawn in their game from the beginning, and you always will be. He felt something inside him clench. Everything he did was part of their plan. His choices, his decisions, everything was leading him to this moment. He realized they were playing with him, tweaking his every move. This wasn't my life. It wasn't my game. They had me on a leash, like a puppy, leading me to this moment. Damn it, how did I not see this before? He looked at the map. and now it no longer seemed like a mere drawing. It was a mirror of his destiny. The ancient symbols began to pulse, turning into glowing lines that intertwined to form the path he was already on. Or is this how it ends? They decide for me. And coldly but gently, they always decide, Roy, you just didn't know the game had already started. No, I'll get out. I'll find a way out. It's my choice. But he already knew there was no way out. Everything had been decided beforehand, and all that was left was to follow that path to the end. He looked at the door leading into the darkness. There seemed to be nothing but emptiness behind it, or perhaps something worse than emptiness. He knew something ancient and hungry awaited him behind the door, like this map, like these symbols, like this house. But he had no choice, or he thought he had no choice. I have to get out, he said to himself, and took a step forward. As soon as he stepped out the door, the darkness closed in behind him, and the world as he knew it disappeared. I'm not leaving this place. I'm already a part of this place, and they're part of me. Me. Now he wasn't just a witness anymore. He had become part of the game, part of the ritual, part of something that was more than he could have imagined. He could feel the thin threads of fate binding him to this club, to this house, to their ancient masters. What waited for him behind the door remained a mystery.